All right, how's it going? Just wanted to jump on here real quick and do a video about small acreage hunting. It's no secret these days that suburban style hunting, small acreage hunting, you could have a lot of success on. So I just wanted to talk about a few things that I do on small acreage property. I've been hunting smaller parcels for 20 years now. And what led me into hunting smaller parcels is, just like anyone, when you first get into hunting, you go and you talk to your big farmers, your bigger landowners, and you think that you need these big pieces to get on deer, and that's not necessarily true. And what I found by being on those big pieces is, the farmers back when I started doing this, they would give everybody permission. So you'd be running into a lot of guys that didn't want you there. They'd steal your tree stands, they'd mess with your stuff. So my first few experiences with that shifted my way of thinking of how I was going to approach hunting the style of deer that I wanted to hunt. And I started researching smaller acres, little, what now is today's day is honey holes. And 20 years ago, I started doing that. Finding an area that I wanted to concentrate on, going down to the town hall, talking to the clerk, finding the tax map. She'd bring out, the big tax map. We'd flip through the pages, find the area that we wanted. She would then give you the landowner's name and their address. And then I would have to drive out, go talk to the landowner and start to build that relationship. So, now you can just pull everything right up on your phone. onX Hunt Stand, it'll tell you everything you need to know, including what the guy had for dinner, his mother's maiden name, and pretty much any information you need. So it's a lot easier today than it was 20 years ago. But one thing that I like to do when I get a small property is start thinking of ways that I can make the small property hunt better, be more attractive to deer. And this particular property that I'm on right now is a 3-acre piece of property that I've had for the last 7 to 8 years. I've built an incredible relationship with the landowner, and with her blessing, one of the things that I did is I took down some larger trees and mowed down a lot of overgrown area. It all used to look kind of like it does here on the edge, very thick. You could see the stumps from some of the trees I took down. And what that allowed me to do on this piece is plant food plots. I'm able to plant every open area that I can. I try to put something in here that attracts more deer, to make my food plots even more attractive. I went and stuck a water hole in here that attracts wildlife. I've planted apple trees, I've planted chestnuts, I've planted oaks. I've tried to do anything that I can to make this property just a little bit more enticing to deer. I have properties that are smaller than this, and not every time can you do a food plot, but you can always do a mock scrape. Very attractive to big bucks passing through. Here's an example of a contraption that I've used, and I've actually started 3D printing something similar to this. This is with oak branches that I'll have to replace here coming up. I use oak branches, I use vines, and I will make a video on how I do my mock scrapes. Mock scrapes are no secret, but if you use them right, they will help your hunting. They will help you attract deer to move through in a certain way. So one thing that I found about small property hunting that I really like is it's much easier to pinpoint where the deer are going to move through. And it's also changed my mindset that when I get into a larger piece of property that I want to hunt, I section it off into small pieces and then you can find your kill trees much easier when you do that. So food plots, water holes, mock scrapes, fruit trees, different types of things. You know, we live in New York here. We can't bait, so you can't go get a 1 acre piece of property, throw up a feeder and make it happen. You got to put in some sweat equity. You got to figure out a way to make that property more enticing. And, you know, those are the things that I use to give me a better chance in the fall. And most of those things are something that you can do anywhere. Mock scrape, water hole, if the landowner will let you, you can dig in. You can go to Tractor Supply, get one of the big Rubbermaid bins for maybe 120 bucks, dig it in the ground, bury it, and then just fill it with water and keep it full. The deer will use it, the deer will come, and it will add a level of enhancement to your hunting property. So those are a couple quick tips and tricks that I use. I'll bring you more videos on how I do all that stuff as I get through my projects this summer and into fall. But, you know, don't overlook small properties. They can be real beneficial, and you can have a lot of success on them. So good luck.